Good evening, everyone. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So listen, guys, in this live stream, we are going to be talking about a Christmas attack warning. Now, this is my own analysis. This is my own work. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the dates that I think this is. And like, look, guys, if you're going to leave the live stream, the dates are the 19th and 20th of this month. That's when I think if something's going to happen, and I mean a big spectacular event, that's when I believe it's going to happen. Now, what I'm going to do in this live stream, I'm just going to give you my thought process. You know, it's not a black art. I've not got some crystal ball. I've got an 8-ball, and I'm not going to lie, guys. It's not that accurate. So what I want to do in this live stream, I just want to keep going on that trope that I believe that there is a significant threat level this weekend, 19th, 20th, maybe even the 21st, this particular weekend. I don't know where, I don't know how, I don't know when, but this weekend, guys, okay, that's when I think if it's going to come, it's going to come then. But before we get onto that, guys, there's been quite a few things happen. There's been quite a few things happening in the last 20, well, I guess in the last, like, since this morning, really, on the Ukraine war front. So let me just share with you guys a video. Now, when I share this video with you guys, like, this is the woman that you're going to see the woman who's she's the head of MI5. Sorry, not MI5. Sorry, let me put the chat on. She's the head of MI6, the sixth branch of the military intelligence service, but it's not called MI6. It's called Secret Intelligence Service. I don't know why they call it MI6. But anyway, I'm going to share this video with you guys now. And when you listen to what she's saying, she's actually saying the same things that I was saying like over a year ago. Even before Donald Trump got elected, I was saying the same, like literally, like she may have even watched one of my videos and just thought, oh, I'm just going to say what Sean said over a year ago. So when the things I was saying over a year ago are now happening, literally, you guys can see them with your own eyes. When I'm saying the other stuff that's coming, it kind of, you've got to understand that there's a lot of credibility behind what these people are saying. So let me share this video with you guys real quick. Is it that one? Yeah, this one.
Let's be in no doubt.
So for context, this is the new head of the Secret Intelligence Service. I don't know why they say she's the head of MI6. MI6 doesn't exist, guys. There's nothing called MI6.
Our world is more dangerous and contested now than it has been for decades.
And look, guys, look, there you go. Look, so look at that. Look how ridiculous that is, right? Okay, hang on. Okay, so you've got the headline here, head of MI6. So they're claiming she's the head of MI6, right? And then...
The world is more dangerous and contested now than it has been for decades.
No, she's not the head of MI6. She's the head of Secret Intelligence Service. So what is it? Like, what is it? Which one is she?
Conflict is evolving and trust eroding, just as new technologies spur both competition and dependence. We all continue to face the menace of an aggressive, expansionist, and revisionist Russia seeking to subjugate Ukraine and harass NATO. I find it harrowing that hundreds of thousands have died, with the toll mounting every day because of Putin's historical distortions and his compromised desire for respect.
So, look, guys, if you're watching this and you don't believe any of it, that's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine if you don't believe any of it. What you need to understand is we're in a new phase of the world right now where reality doesn't matter. The perception of that reality matters. So if all the mainstream media come out and they say aliens have landed in Scotland, they show AI and there's aliens landing and zapping people and using ray guns and they're probing people, then people will believe that aliens have, so when you're doing your own fact checking, you have to understand that everybody's got an agenda when they're saying something.
He is dragging out negotiations and shifting the cost of war onto his own population.
So remember what I said back when, before Trump was elected, and he was saying he's going to have a peace deal in Ukraine within 24 hours. He's not even going to wait to be inaugurated. And I was like, no, he's not. I literally did a video and I got about 3 views on it. The video's titles like how Putin will play Trump. And I just said exactly how he's going to drag these negotiations out. Oh, yes, we want to come to a peace negotiation. Yes, of course, we want peace negotiation, and it needs to be sustainable peace with mutual respect and security guarantees for all sides, of course. Send me document email me document, and we will, for sake of translation and make proposal go faster, send me document and my interpreter will look over this. Okay, Vladimir, we got you, buddy. We'll send you your document. Like, what? Is it almost 2 years now? Well, I mean, it's certainly over a year since Donald Trump's been inaugurated, and what's happened? Absolutely nothing. So Putin's already a quarter of the way there to just totally ignoring Donald Trump. And then Donald Trump, the United States, they're going to have another election. There'll be another set of bureaucrats in. And then, yes, of course, well, we had agreement with previous presidents. So if you would like to send your delegation to Russia, we will look after delegation, and we'll make sure we can come to meaningful talks. And then the next bunch of negotiators go over there. We're gonna make some fine and dandy talks with this Putin. We're gonna show him how we do things in the US of A. Yes, of course. Well, if you want to have vodka and caviar, we will of course accommodate you. No, stay longer. And nothing happens. They're masters of it, guys.
But Putin should be in no doubt. Our support is enduring. The pressure we apply on Ukraine's behalf will be sustained, because it is fundamental not just to European sovereignty and security, but to global stability. Alongside the grinding war, Russia is testing us in the grey zone with tactics that are just below.
Sorry, so what she's talking about now is the increase in asymmetric warfare, grey warfare, non-conventional warfare. There's going to have to be a new name for it. But what she's getting at here is how warfare is changing. So when you guys ask me, like, "Oh, Sean, are we going to get attacked by the Russians? Are the Russians going to attack us?" I'm like, yes, but not what you think.
Oh, the threshold of war.
Sorry, she's saying there the attacks are below the threshold of war, but they're still attacks.
Grey zone with tactics that are just below the threshold of war. It's important to understand their attempts to bully, fearmonger, and manipulate, because it affects us all.
So that's the new news of the day, guys, okay? It does look like, look, if you live in the United Kingdom right now, I don't know, let me know in the chat. If you live in the United Kingdom right now, is anybody under any illusion that we're not going to war with Russia? Like, does anybody think that that's not going to happen now? Like, does anybody think that kids, like, honestly, guys, serious question. Is there anybody out there who actually thinks at this point in human existence that the United Kingdom is not at some point in the very near future going to be at fisticuffs with the Russians? I don't know how, like, and if you do think that that's not the case, like, if you do think that we're not going to be at war with the Russians, like, what's going to stop that? What's the blow-off valve? What's the escape route? Like when you're driving down, like when you're driving down a big hill, and they have the the things on the left that if you've got a HGV and your brakes don't work, what are they called? Like runoffs or something? It's usually like sand and gravel. Like, what is the runoff? Like, how does this not escalate into a full-scale war? So while that's happening, ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring everybody's attention back to things. So that's your World War III front, okay? There's also going to be a World War IV front, which is going to be on our streets. And I would already argue that World War IV has already started. Now, I'm speculating, guys, and this is my own work, my own analysis. I'm speculating that this weekend, I'm going with the date. I'm saying Friday, but this weekend in general, all right? It's going to be like, if something doesn't happen this weekend, I'm going to be very surprised. And I believe this could be a spectacular. and I don't mean spectacular in a positive way, just in the business, in the business, it's something called a spectacular attack is one that's huge. There's 9/11, for example, was a spectacular attack. It's a big attack. Now, what I'm just going to do with you guys real quick, I'm going to give you guys 3 real world events that have happened in the last 24 hours, okay? And I'll let you guys make your own. I'll ask you guys some questions. Give me the logical answers, and then you'll come to the logical conclusion, okay? That's what you will do. Excuse me. So, first thing, of course, we've got... first thing, of course, we've got the shooting in Bondi Beach. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Father and son. Father and son. What were their names? Sajid Akram and Nadim. Is it Nadim or something? Nadim Akram. Basically, in Australia, I've spoke about it quite a lot. In Australia, first day of Hanukkah, these 2 guys, I can't even, I don't want to rehash things I've already said. Basically, you've got the father who came to you've got the father who immigrated, moved to Australia under a student visa in 1998, and his son who was born in Australia. Now, these people have been preparing that attack for some time. They must have been, and even if they haven't, it was certainly an attack. So this is and they're claiming allegiance to Islamic State. Okay. That happened 100%. Nobody can deny that happened. Although I know there's some conspiracy theorists out there who say that didn't happen, but let's just go with what I always say. It's not the reality, it's the perception of that reality. Also in Germany, and I'm just going to read this from the headline from it's a German news channel. It's called NDTV World, and this was released yesterday at 9:19 p.m. So 5 men suspected of planning Christmas market attacks arrested in Germany. There have been a series of vehicle ramming attacks in Germany since an Islamist rammed a hijacked truck into a Christmas market in central Berlin in 2016. German authorities have arrested 5 men suspected of being militant Islamists planning an attack on a Christmas market in southern Bavaria. Police and prosecutors said in a joint statement there has been a series of vehicle ramming attacks since the Islamists rammed a truck into a German Christmas market in central Berlin in 2016. Last December, several people were killed in Magdeburg. I don't think I'm pronouncing that right, guys, but it was the attack last year. I can remember I was actually on the live stream when it happened, and we was on the live stream together when it happened. Now, there's 3 Moroccan nationals aged 22, 28, and 30, an Egyptian national aged 56, and a 37-year-old Syrian were all detained on Friday at the border crossing point between Germany and Austria, according to a joint statement late on Saturday. Investigators believe the men intended to drive a vehicle into a crowded market in the Dingolfing Larue area. Guys, I can't pronounce that word. It's in German, but with the aim of killing as many people as possible, the statement said. So that's a real thing that happened. Those guys were arrested on Saturday, I believe it was. I believe they were arrested on Saturday, or was it Friday? But in the last couple of days, these things have really happened. Then again today, breaking news from less than an hour ago: New Year's Eve terror plot across Southern California foiled by FBI. These are real world events, guys. These are real headlines. I'm not making them up. And I'm going to ask you guys some logical questions in a minute. A suspected New Year's Eve terror plot by an extremist group has been foiled by federal authorities in Los Angeles, officials say. 4 alleged members of the... Turtle Island Liberation Front, TILF of the TILF. So 4 alleged members of the TILF, an offshoot of the pro-Palestine anti-government group, have been arrested on suspicion of planning a coordinated bombing attack in at least 5 locations across Southern California. So in old money, when I used to go to school, when I was doing counterterrorism stuff in the military, this would be called a complicated terror attack. Now, they've changed it and they're calling it a marauding terror attack. The Americans are calling it a, what are they calling it? Coordinated terror attack. Doesn't really matter what you call it. It's the same thing. Okay. So, right. I'm going to ask you guys some questions now. Take into the back of your mind the Bondi Beach shooting. 5 men arrested. 5 men arrested for planning Rami in Germany. And I think there are 4 men arrested. Is it 4 or is it 3? I can't remember. And then there's been a series of arrests in America. And people are, in response to a New Year's Eve terror plot. Okay? So here's the question I've got for you guys. Okay? Serious question. Do you think that that's it now? That's all the terror plots foiled? They're all foiled. They're literally all foiled. Do you think that they're all foiled? Or do you think that some have slipped through the net? Do you think that there was just Bondi Beach, tragically, went ahead, disgusting? I don't even know what reckless hate drives a man and his son to do that. The ramming attack, the potential ramming attack that the 5 men were arrested for in Germany, and the complicated bombing campaign on New Year's Eve in Southern California. Do you guys think that that's it? The authorities around the world have managed to catch everyone. Simple question, of course the answer is not yes. Of course. Well, do you know what, guys? I don't know what the answer is. In my speculation and my analysis, I would say that there are more people planning these events. And I think that's a fair assumption to make, right? It's a fair assumption to make. So if you make that assumption, which I have, that, these are not isolated incidents, then the next logical question would be, when are these things going to get, when are these things going to happen? Yes, you found some of these things happening on New Year's Eve and New Year's Eve celebrations. That is a thing. That could happen. My feeling, and this is just a gut feeling, guys. This is just a gut feeling. There's going to be more dynamics on Friday, okay? Friday is the 19th? Yeah, Friday's, okay. So this is what's going to, when I give these analysis, it's not a dark art. I just think about so many different aspects, okay? So right now, what I'm thinking is this Friday, okay? Literally, 3-4 days, whatever. This Friday, your children will probably break up early from school, right? Yeah? Am I wrong? No, I'm not. I'm right, yeah? So your kids are probably going to break up early from school, right? They're going to be giddy. They're going to be excited. Mummy, Daddy, what should we do? Oh, let's go to the market. Let's have a walk around the Christmas market. It's going to be rammed, guys. It's going to be rammed this Friday. And I don't mean like rammed by a vehicle, although that may be the case. What I mean is this Friday, you're going to have a lot of people going to those Christmas markets. It's a Friday, guys. It's a Friday. What do I always say? If you follow my channel, bad things happen on a Friday. Why? First of all, all those police officers, yeah, they're going to want to go away and see their families as well. All those emergency services, yeah, they're going to want to call in sick and go and be with their families. So you're going to have less, and this is just the way it works, guys. This is just the way it works. And I'm giving you this analysis, and this is real analysis, guys. This is real world analysis, all right? This is not your bullshit white paper that your politicians get. Oh, our emergency services have this. No, they fucking don't. Shut your fucking mouth and sit down, all right? Your emergency services don't have that many people. What about the sick? What about those that are late? What about those that you don't really trust? What about those that are suspended? You don't have that many emergency services, all right? That's the reality. A lot of these people are going to be away. They're going to be at home. So that's one aspect, right? It's the last Friday before Christmas, all right? So that's an added layer of pressure. It's like, what do they call it? Mad Friday or something, where everybody's going out drinking. Let's go out drinking. That's going to be happening this Friday. I'm not making these things up, guys. I'm not, like, you know, when I'm saying these things, am I bullshitting? Like, am I bullshitting you guys? Literally, am I bullshitting you when I'm saying these things? Am I telling you the Anunnaki are coming? Am I saying the alien overlords are going to come down and you're like, yeah, Sean, that's crazy? Or is everything I'm saying grounded in logic, right? So this Friday, guys, okay? Also, if people, I don't really think this is going to be applicable to this scenario, but it may be. If you do bad things on a Friday, and I'm talking about on a military, on like a geopolitical scale now, like there's a bombing raid, there's a, you know, there's an, I don't know, there's an airstrike somewhere, there's a war declared. If you do it on a Friday, you can make a shit ton of money on the stock market because the shares will rocket or they'll tank. And if you know they're going to rocket or tank beforehand, guess what? You can go all in on that decision and you make a shitload of money. So from that analysis, guys, okay, and I will mention this again. I'm saying that I believe something will happen this Friday, a big event, either stabby, rammy, kaboomy, shooty. I don't know. That there are so many data points pointing to this Friday. Now, look, ladies and gentlemen, of course, absolutely, I don't want to see that any cars being rammed into markets. I don't want to see anybody, I don't want to see that. I want to see humanity come together and start building spaceships. Yeah, I want to see humanity come together and start building spaceships and stop having wars with each other, because it's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I've just been ranting, haven't I? I've just been ranting. Right, I'm going to jump onto the chat. I've realized my shirt went wild while I was ranting. I think I should undo that button. I think that button needs to come undone because it is a little bit hot in here. Right, let me jump up here, guys, and get some of the comments on the chat. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. D. Marie Gen X is saying, I think there will be attack in every country, all coordinated so they can ram in this digital ID by using the useful idiots who practice the religion of peace. I don't know. I don't know. I just know that there's a lot of data points, guys, pointing to this weekend, particularly Friday. I do have a Friday bias. So when you do certain courses in the military, they teach you this stuff, and it's not a dark art. It's not like, a lot of people think that like doing like, security analysis or something, it's like a dark art, and it's like, you've got some sort of secret information. You haven't. You look what's happening. You look what the most likely events are. You look what the weather is. You look what the previous, you look what the demographics are. You look what the previous incidents are in that region, and you make an assessment. What do you think's going to happen? Silly Gallardi is saying, I saw an article today about a submarine operating with no man aboard. Jesus, God, listen, the world really has fallen now, and we've got submarines full of women. Like, did they crash it? Could the women reverse park that submarine, guys? Silly Gallardi, was the article, and it said, woman crashes submarine trying to parallel park. Husband has to parallel park for her and apologize to the other submarine owner. Yeah, sorry guys. I think what Silly Gallardi's talking about here is there are Russian submarines. There's Russian submarines with they're basically drone submarines. And the Russians have got one. I don't know if this is the Russians one, what Silly's talking about. They've got ones called, I think it's called Poseidon. Yeah, it's Poseidon. And the Poseidon submarine basically is a nuclear-powered, nuclear-armed submarine. It's just a big, slow, underwater nuclear drone. And those things are terrifying. Right, let me jump down, guys, and get some more comments. The West likes to get a big wallop in on the weekends and finish off by Sunday night, so not to give the stock market jitters. A big wallop. Are we talking about a potential attack? Are we talking about a potential attack? Trevor is saying, if Islam takes over the world, you can forget about progression and space. I know. Can you imagine, right? And, you know, I used to joke with my, Muslim friends. And I used to say to them, I said, right, okay, imagine it, mate. Like, so Fahed. Imagine if the whole world was like Muslims, right? And everybody's praying 5 times a day. Like, when do we build shit? Like, literally, when are we going to build shit? And, you know, he was fine. He was saying, yes, I know, Sean. I know. It's crazy. I don't pray myself, you know. And, yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I don't know. David O'Rourke is saying, I think you hit the nail on the head. Same mate noticed free vast engine strip exact as one around. I don't know what that means, Mad Max style. I don't know what that means. I think you hit the nail on the head. Same mate, I think that's what he says, noticed free VAS engine strip. I don't know what that means, mate. I don't know what that means. No idea what that means. Rasta Sound saying it will never stop till a race or religion is wiped out. Someone is always wanting the top of the leaderboard of the world. Greed, and more greed. Like, okay, when we talk about greed, I don't think it is greed, guys. Honestly, I don't think it is greed. I think it can't be. It absolutely can't be greed. Okay, so if we talk about greed, what is greed? It's wanting more stuff, right? I want more stuff. I want more money, basically. Let's just say it's wanting more money. Yes, of course, you know. I'm greedy when I go to the steakhouse because I'll have ribs and then I'll have a ribeye and then I'll have the all-you-can-eat ribs again and I'll have 2 portions of all-you-can-eat ribs. And the woman, she comes out, she says, but sir, you've already got the all-you-can-eat ribs. And I'll say, listen, don't tell me what I can and cannot do. If I want to order 2 portions of all-you-can-eat ribs, I will order 2 portions of all-you-can-eat ribs. Thank you very much. Now, make sure that ribeye is rare. Anyway, so there's different forms of greed, right? There's different forms of greed. Just for the context of, like, you know, this little explanation, I'm going to talk about financial greed. I want more money. So if greed is fueling all these wars and people just want money, literally, why don't people build spaceships and go and take the resources that are on asteroids? Like, there's an asteroid that's classed as a near-Earth object. It's called, it's either called Eros 442 or I think it's 442 or 242. Eros, basically. EROS. It's an asteroid. It's classed as a near-Earth object. Now, that's got like trillions and trillions of dollars of gold on it, just floating around, So if it's, if all these wars and this suffering, if it's about greed, why don't we just go and take that? Literally, no one's going to die. Everybody's going to get rich, all right? Literally, everybody's going to get rich, and nobody's going to get hurt. Yeah, we're probably going to lose some people going up there, taking, there's shit's going to happen up there. But like, if all these wars and this suffering was just about money, it would be, people are going to space. Stephen Riley is saying, not greedy, it's Islam. They're satanic. Their satanic book orchestrates to conquer the infidels. Islam works in all levels of jihad. I hope that's not a reference to people who we've got on here are Jewish. I think he means jihad here. I think not jihad. I think he means jihad. Yeah, so for those of you guys who don't know, jihad, there are lots of different forms of jihad. You know, there's financial jihad, there's chemical jihad, there's rape jihad, there's war jihad. You know, there's just literally, if you work at the council and a non-Muslim comes in, you don't serve him, you serve the Muslims first. That's a type of jihad, lots of different forms of jihad. Oh, silly is saying, I also read somewhere about a big company that is working on a project creating energy from moon dust to replace oil. Yeah, so that's actually helium-3. So it's helium-3. Now, the proposed way to use for nuclear fusion, is it nuclear fusion? Yeah. So all the scientists at the moment, we're always 30 years away from getting nuclear fusion. And nuclear fusion basically is like harnessing the power of the sun. It's sustainable, clean energy. Now, for nuclear fusion, you need helium-3. Now, helium-3 is just not available on Earth. It's just not available on Earth because when it comes in from the cosmos, the atmosphere fries it in the atmosphere. But on the moon doesn't have any atmosphere, so all that helium-3, all that beautiful helium-3, will be given in the will still be in that moon dust, or as such. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to jump back right to the beginning of this live stream, and I'm just going to give a quick overview again, because I do want to keep going through this, okay? I'll try and get through this a little bit quicker. This is a Christmas attack warning, and my dates for this, these are my dates. I might be wrong. I'm putting myself out there. Again, I don't want to be right, but and do you know what, guys? They're our dates collectively, because if I give you the same information that I've got and you guys come to the same conclusion, then they're your dates as well. You think that these dates are coming. You think that something can happen. So, three things that have happened recently. We've got the Bondi Beach shooting. It happened 100%. Nobody can deny that. We also had, I think, yesterday or the day before, 5 men were arrested, suspected on planning a Christmas market ram attack. That happened in Germany. Let me just scroll down, see if I can find out where it was. They were arrested. So there was 3 Moroccan men, an Egyptian national. I mean, look at this, guys. 3 Moroccan men aged 22, 28, and 30. I better knock them all. I better knock all 3 of them out at the same time, quite easily. Obviously, I wouldn't do that because then I would be in jail and I'd get sent to jail, and I don't want to get sent to jail. An Egyptian national aged 56 and a 37-year-old Syrian man were detained on Friday as he tried to cross into Germany from Austria. Now, they were planning a ram attack on a Christmas market. Today, 4 alleged members of the Turtle Island Liberation Front. I'm not making that up, guys. I'm not making that up. This was in response to a potential New Year's Eve terror plot across Southern California. 4 members of the Turtle Island Liberation Front, an offshoot of the pro-Palestine anti-government group, have been arrested on suspicion of planning a coordinated bombing campaign in at least 5 areas across Southern California. the FBI and Los Angeles law enforcement said Monday. So that's just happened today, guys, okay? 4 people arrested for planning a bombing campaign, New Year's Eve, Southern California, okay? There's no argument there. That's, that's the information I've got, and that's the information that you've got, okay? So the next question for you guys is, straight up, next question. Do you think that that's it? That all the people that were planning attacks, do we think that they've all been arrested? Do we think that it's either the Bondi Beach, those guys, they've got through the net, one of them is dead, and the other one's I think he's in critical condition. The 5 men arrested in crossing over into Germany, planning a ram attack, and the 4 people arrested with a bomb plot. Simple question: do you think that is it now? We've caught everybody. We've caught all these bad guys. All right. My answer to that would be no. I don't think we have. I don't think we have. So the next question is, right, okay, I don't think we've, and if you think we have caught them all, that's fine. So my next question would be, right, okay, we haven't caught all the people, and I would suspect there is a high likelihood of other people planning these things. Let me ask you a question real quick, guys, okay? In the United Kingdom, right, these hotels we've got, predominantly, what type of men are there? And what do you think they're talking about in their rooms? Like, what do you think they're talking about in there? After they've had a big dinner. Oh, I've had a big dinner tonight. Oh, lovely big dinner. Nice big dinner. I hope it was halal. They've had their big dinners. And they might be smoking the cigarettes or the vapes. What do you think they're talking about? I don't know, just food for thought. When these conversations grow and grow and grow, the weaker-minded people in those groups, they often get sucked in. So then you would have let's just say a hotel's got, 100 people in it or whatever. Look, guys, total hypothetical. I do this same analysis when we talk about public order and crowd management. Let's just say you've got 100 people, right, in that hotel. Let's just say 1% of those people are going to go crackers, right? But from every one person that is like a huge fanatical, they may be able to influence 2 or 3 people who were probably not going to go crackers, but they're now being influenced. So now you've got a little cell. You've got a little team operating within that hotel, and they start going out and they start planning things. Oh, right. Where's the local school? Can you drive up to it? How fast can you get? Is the speed bumps? Is there those little metal kids that, oh, no, right, okay, right, we'll go somewhere else. That's what they may or may not start doing. Anyway, let's jump back, guys, okay? So do we think we've seen all these bad guys all arrested? I would say no. Okay, next question. When would the likely strike point happen? When would the likely strike date be? I can't help you on this point, guys. I can't help you on the strike point. I don't know. I can give you the dates. And I may be wrong, but I'm putting myself out there. If you go down that route, this Friday, literally this Friday coming, if you've got kids at school, they're probably going to finish early, right? Yeah, they are. They're going to finish early. They're going to come out of school. Oh, Mummy, Daddy, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Father Christmas is coming. Father Christmas is coming. And my mind right now is racing ahead. My mind is racing ahead now and thinking about, potentially the parents. I can't even say it. I can't even say it. My mind's racing ahead to thinking about the parents right now who don't understand how dangerous the world is. But those parents who are going to have a really sharp awakening very soon. That's what I'm thinking about. And it terrifies me. So make sure you share this to everybody, guys. Just be vigilant, all right? Be vigilant. So the kids finish school on Friday. Mummy, Daddy, I want to go here, I want to go there, I'm in the Christmas spirit. Oh, let's go have a little walk around the market. We'll not spend anything because it's expensive. We'll just have a little walk around. There's your strike point, guys. One potential strike point. Now, we've seen complicated terror attacks, marauding terror attacks. The Americans are calling it, what are the Americans calling it? Coordinated. The Americans are calling it coordinated attacks. So that's my analysis, guys. And if you think any of that information I've said there is wrong or erroneous or not logical, absolutely fine. You know, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Tell me you think I'm wrong. I welcome it. Right, let me jump up and get some comments. Chris is saying, America just stole an oil tanker, for Christ's sake. Yeah, they did. That's what you do when you're the big boys. When you're the big boy when you're the big boy in the park, you get to do what the fuck you want. Americans do what the fuck they want, guys. Like, that's just the reality. Silly is saying Israel actually gave Australian government pre-information, but they ignored it. I don't know about that. Look, guys, I'm not doubting Silly. Silly, can you tell me where you got that information from? And I'll share it. I will share it. Kenny is saying, anyone interested in defending ourselves before we no longer have the ability to do so? Listen, ladies and gentlemen, the first battles need to be in the courtroom, all right? The first battles before anything need to be in the courtroom. People of the United, you guys know what I'm going to say, right? People of the United Kingdom need to have some sort of legal framework where they can defend themselves. Because right now, if you live in the UK, as crazy as this sounds, it's illegal to defend yourself. And I'm talking about defending yourself from a tyrannical government. Kev Mills is saying midnight mass or Christmas service. Okay, so in my experience, if this may be true, I don't know, but in my experience, bad guys don't want to be out late. That's the reality, guys. You know, bad guys don't want to be out late, so they won't want to do it late. And if they want to go for mass, and I don't mean midnight mass, I mean if they want to go for mass casualties, they're going to do that. They're going to do that spectacular on the go on. They're going to do that spectacular in broad daylight, because another thing of what's the word? Not property. Hallmark, I guess. Another hallmark of a terrorist attack, you want everybody to see it. You want everybody to see. So you want it to be the big spectacular. Look at me. Look what we can do. So it may be midnight mass or Christmas service. It could be. Sonny Claire is saying Greta Thunberg has been encouraging to mobilize and escalate, whatever that means. I don't know. Does anybody ever, like, how old is she now? Can you remember her? How dare you take away my free? I'm like, what are you on about, Greta? Greta, you do realize, right, Greta, that if we have no carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, literally plants will die. And you know what happens if plants die? They don't make any oxygen. And you know what happens if they don't make any oxygen? We die. And I don't want to. I don't, guys. I'm going to put my hands up. I'm good. I don't want to suffocate to death. I'm totally fine with that. I'm totally fine with burning fossil fuels. You know, I was talking to my, what was it, last night? I can't remember. Maybe last night or the night before. I was talking to one of my Ukrainian friends, and he was saying, he'd been talking to somebody else, and he was saying that there's a theory that the purpose of humans on Earth is to release carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere. Now, look, guys, this is just like two guys talking, like after we've had far too many vodkas. You know, so, and I don't know if there's any science behind it. So this is not scientific research or anything, guys. I'm not framing this as scientific research. But the Earth, we lose like atmosphere all the time. We're losing atmosphere all the time. It just goes into space. And it's only the gravity that's keeping all that atmosphere pulled down. And he was saying that if we don't keep replenishing that atmosphere, burning shit, it's just going to get thinner and thinner and thinner. And eventually we're all going to suffocate because there's going to be no air. But yeah, like, when we talk about burning fuels and fossil fuels and stuff, like if you go to anyone who's got one of these, like there's quite a few in Northeast Lincolnshire, and I'm told that they had similar systems in Holland. But these huge greenhouses, they actually pump in CO2 because the plants grow better with CO2. Oh, hang on. The Watchman is saying Santa Claus just drove down my road blasting Feed the World on the back of a Toyota Hilux dressed as a reindeer. When I used to live in Ukraine, so when I used to live in Kiev, which is in Ukraine, they used to have when it was the elections, there was like a guy and he used to dress as Darth Vader, and that was his party, like the Darth Vader party or something, or the dark side or something. And he used to drive around Kiev playing that dun, 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 you know, like the Darth Vader. You guys know the music. And it was wild, you know. It was one of my first experiences to Kiev. I was like, oh, so this is how you guys roll in Ukraine then. Where's God's Little Helper? Oh, what? A1 Atlas to approach Earth Friday. What? Right, I need more information about this. A1, right, I'm going to have to Google this, guys. Give me a second. What? Ah, okay, so it's a long way away. It's like twice the distance away from the sun. Okay, Donna, I'm assuming you mean 3i Atlas. I'm assuming Donna means 3i Atlas. Trevor Pitcher is saying, Sean, I am your father. I've been looking for him. I never knew where he was. I thought he used to work on the waltzer. Okay, right. So, yeah. Okay, so 3i Atlas. Yes, Comet 3i Atlas will make its closest approach to Earth on Friday, the 19th of December, passing at a safe distance of about 1.8 astronomical units. So that's like double the distance from the sun on the far side of the sun. Yeah, so it's like, it's literally like we're going to be here. Sorry. This is going to be the sun. We're going to be here. And 3i Atlas is going to be more or less an equal distance, but the opposite side of the sun. With these asteroids, guys, you know, there's quite a lot of mounting evidence that there was another. So there's quite a lot of there is quite a lot of mounting evidence that there was another technologically advanced civilization on Earth before humans. Now, it's quite plausible that they got wiped out by an asteroid, you know, and I think it's ridiculous that we spend so much money on defense, like, you know, that's not really defense. It's more like bombing people and blowing shit up. We spend so much money on defense. And I don't know what we're spending on, like, planetary defense. Like, this. So, look, guys, I'm going to go a little bit space nerdy for a second. There's an asteroid heading towards Earth right now, and it makes its closest pass to Earth on Friday the 13th. Yeah, Friday the 13th of April, 2029. All right. Now, remember how remember how they said, you know, how the headlines there are saying that this asteroid 3 Atlas. It's coming. It's making a close approach to Earth, and it's all over the headlines. And it's twice the distance from the sun. This asteroid that's coming in 2029, it's coming so close to Earth, it's going to go underneath the satellites, some satellites that we have orbiting Earth. Does that sound safe to you? I know it doesn't sound safe to me. It doesn't sound safe at all. So, at some point, the inevitability is we're going to get a big hit by an asteroid. We are. That is absolutely that is absolutely, that is absolutely inevitable. Given a long enough time, go on. Murphy's Law. Anything that can happen will happen given a long enough time frame. Wow, asteroids like Armageddon. Yeah, but like this is real. Galloway Raider is saying, let's be honest, humans are too stupid to have such conveniences such as flushing toilets. I've seen the Labour Party. You can't fool me. I don't know where that's going. I'm happy to criticize the Labour Party as much as you guys want, but I don't know. I don't know. I think I've been to the Labour office where I live, and they definitely had flushing toilets. So I'm just going to be fair. I'm going to be fair to the Labour Party. I'm going to be fair to the Labour Party. John is saying, definitely, my friend. When you only have to look at Egypt, I don't need to send him, will not really explain what that, I might start listening to those. I don't know what that means. I think you're talking about the pyramids. I think John is talking about the pyramids, and I don't think the pyramids were ever a burial chamber. I don't think the pyramids were a burial chamber. And Sony Claire is saying, I doubt it very much that NASA cameras will be working. Yeah, they always go down at crucial moments, don't they? Oh, Donna's got some what's the breaking news, Donna? I don't know. I think Donna's got some breaking news, but I don't know what it is. Let me see if I can find out what's on the I've not even done the thing, have I? Oh, so I've got this from 1 hour ago, guys. I've got this from 1 hour ago. Right, okay. From Deborah Haynes. I'll share this with you, actually. This is quite chilling. Okay, so this literally just come out 1 hour ago. Let's share this and go through this together. So we're talking about the Russia war, the war in Ukraine. Sorry about the ads, guys. UK's sons and daughters need to be ready to fight amid growing Russian threat, she says. Head of armed forces. In an extraordinary blunt interview, Air Chief Marshal, we spoke about this morning. Air Chief Marshal Richard Kennington warned that Russia's military strength is increasing and is something to fear, with Russian troops now battle-hardened after spending nearly 4 years waging a full-scale war in Ukraine. Honestly, they're finally catching up to the stuff I've been saying, right? So I somebody put on one of my videos, somebody put on one of my videos the other day, Sean, Russia isn't going to fight 30 nations at once. I was like, well, they're kind of doing that already. And it's like saying a nation of this big isn't going to fight a load of, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, guys. It's absolutely ridiculous, So while everybody, while we keep, so how all the mainstream, so this is a good little analogy, guys, okay? So how in the last year, all the mainstream media have been coming out, haven't they? They've been saying Russia's done, Russia's over, Russia can't keep up, their economy's broken, they're about to collapse, they're finished. Any day now, the Russians are going to collapse. Turns out that might not have been as accurate as people initially thought. So let me, okay, we've not been onto the warm up for a while. I'm going to jump over to the, guys, I'm jumping about today. I'm going to jump onto the warm up now. So if you guys, okay, right, ladies and gentlemen, let me just outline some things, okay? World War III and World War IV are coming. I would argue World War IV's already started. World War IV will be the war on our streets. This is going to be asymmetric warfare. It's going to be civil. It's going to be civil war. It's going to be gang war. It's going to be crime war. It's going to be sectarian war. It's going to all these crazy stuff. If you want to understand what that's going to be like, imagine a Northern Ireland scenario, but on steroids. Now, we was doing a live stream, and I shared a video with you guys, and it was from Professor David Betts. He was saying his low end estimates of casualties are 23 deaths. This is deaths, sorry. His low end estimates for casualties in a civil war in the United Kingdom, these are low end, are 23,000 people per year. 23,000 people per year. Do you think those people are going to get investigated? Do you think the police are going to come out and find? Absolutely not, guys. We are going to be on our own. That's the reality. And when I'm saying things over a year ago, and all my stuff's on public record, you can literally like scroll through, when I'm saying things over a year ago, literally like, let me read this again. UK sons and daughters need to be ready to fight Russia amid growing Russian threat, says the head of the armed forces. In an extraordinary blunt intervention, Air Chief Marshal Richard Kennington warns that Russia's military strength is increasing and is something to fear, with Russian troops now battle-hardened after spending nearly the past 4 years waging a full-scale war. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then you get these people, but Britain and NATO can afford to outspend Russia. It's fucking ridiculous, guys. It's so absurd. I just want to poke these people in the eye, all right? I want to poke these people in the eye, all right? Like, if me and you go to the shop, I can quite easily outspend you. I can just go to the shop and buy a bag of crisps and pay £1,000 for it. I'll pay £1,000 for a bag of crisps, right? You can spend 100 quid and you've got a shit ton more food. And then I can walk off telling everybody, I've outspent everybody in the shop. Yeah, I've only got a bag of crisps. It's fucking ridiculous, it's so absurd to think that. I mean, it is true in itself that the West can outspend Russia, but we can't outproduce them, guys. It's just not a thing. It's not a thing. We can't outproduce Russia. That's the reality. And yes, we've got better trained special forces. We've got, these, I don't know, backflipping hat. We haven't got backflipping hatchet attacks. It's just ridiculous, guys. It is ridiculous. Anti-tank barriers to be built on front line. Is this with Poland? I think Poland are doing this. I think this is. I think this is done on being done on the Polish border. Other countries are digging trenches, and the UK is digging a black hole. We're certainly digging a hole for ourselves here in the United Kingdom, guys. We are. Oh, James is saying, Sean, I keep asking for ages. Our European, UK, Germany, France military is hollowed out, but we are being told Russia-NATO war in a few years. So we are not preparing. Something is wrong. No, James, it does not make sense at all. But do you know what does make sense, James? I'm going to move that because I want you guys to see my beautiful face. Do you know what does make sense, James? Service for citizenship. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. So, James, when you think now, okay, so now think about it, right? Sean, I keep asking, our Europe, European, UK, Germany, France military is hollowed out. But we are being told Russia, NATO war within a few years. We are not preparing. Something is wrong. It doesn't make sense. Follow the logic, guys. What's the logic here? All these fighting age young men in the hotels. We're even putting them on barrackses. We're even throwing them in barrackses now. Right. Yeah, just move them into the barracks. What? The barracks with all the training equipment and the stores already complete. Yes. Don't worry. Just put them in there. Put them in there. Get them in there. You know, honestly, I you know, like James is saying, it doesn't make sense until you take a step back and you think, now it kind of makes sense. It's going to be crazy, guys. It is going to be crazy. When all this is over, and it will be over, it's going to be absolutely crazy. I don't believe it, he's saying, with most of the steelworks not working and our shipping manufacturing none, what does he think this will achieve? So if you look at the whole of Europe as an army now, you can't just look at the UK as an army or as a military force anymore. You've got to look at the whole of Europe now as a military. The Germans the Germans are very efficient. Like, I don't know if anybody's ever worked with any Germans. They're very efficient. They've got no sense of humor. It's actually funny how no sense of humor they have. But the Germans, they build a shit ton of stuff, all right? The Germans are right there on the border. So it would make sense that the Germans build the shit, all right? You know, the heavy shit. You've got the Polish right there. You know, I mean, Poland's a beautiful country. It's got brilliant people, very smart people, good, good industrial capacity in Poland. Britain doesn't really need to build anything. Britain will be taking that command element. Six hours ago, Donna's saying Lithuania declares emergency situation over Belarus balloons. Can you see my I don't know if you guys can see that. I did some work with high altitude balloons a while ago. It wasn't really profitable. But yeah, high altitude balloons, guys, are great. The problem is they only go up and down, and up mainly. They're very difficult to move laterally. The Willow Fairy is saying, evening, what have I missed? Oh, the Willow Fairy. Listen, guys, I am going to start to close this live stream down now. Just remember, because I'm not going to do another live stream on it. I might do some short videos on it. I've been talking about how there's a lot of data points pointing to this weekend, particularly this Friday. You know, particularly this Friday for an attack. Now, I've given you guys my my analysis of why that was. I'm not going to go through it again because I've done it like maybe 3 times or something. What I will say is there's been a lot of people arrested in the last 48 hours, 24, 48 hours that were planning things. And my only question to you guys is, do you think that everybody's being caught? Fine. If you think everybody's being caught and the police services around the world have caught everybody, that's it. It's a done deal. Done. We're all fine. Go to those Christmas markets, let your hair down, do whatever. If you think, no, I actually believe that there are more people out there who wish us to do us harm, then you need to ask when. And I'm saying that this week, you need to do it before Christmas because that's going to have the maximum effect. And this Friday is going to be the pinnacle. People are finishing school early. You know, kids are going to want to have that Christmas spirit. there's a lot of energy for this Friday, guys. Okay, right. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to close this down now. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. Quite a few people commenting today that I've not seen before, and I welcome everybody's comments. I welcome everybody. Everybody's equal in my eyes, but some people are more equal than others, and I'm a little bit more equal than everybody else. And some of you guys on the chat, and I'm not mentioning any names, but some of you guys are like, I don't know. Some of the comments I get on the chat, they're pretty dark. Listen, guys, I don't block anyone anymore. I don't want to block anyone anymore. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Galloway Ryder saying bugger off. Right, listen, guys, I'm gonna go now. I think this is gonna be the last live stream. Not the last live stream I do. The last time I talk about that, but I'll just say it again, guys, okay? Just be vigilant this weekend and particularly Friday, all right? Particularly Friday, all right? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I bid you all good evening, and I'll be back on tomorrow morning at 10.